but all the points I make are what I think could be common to all the people that are trying to stop Brexit and get a second referendum, and to really rethink what our country is, because this has been such a shock. We need a written constitution. We need the Privy Council to be publicised. We need a truth bill in Parliament. We need a Green New Deal. We need a peace policy for UK foreign policy. We need a referendum on ending nuclear weapons throughout the whole country, not just in Scotland. And we have to recognise that the Scottish people have a right to a second independence referendum. I think that's non-negotiable. Having lived there, I can just report that I think that is non-negotiable. And any attempt to suppress that would lead to a tragic sequence of events that would end up somewhere like the Catalan crisis. And I don't want to go there. So that's the manifesto. And then I want to finish by saying today is also the day of the... each day here in the Museum of the Muses we have a prayer time in the mornings around noon when we discover the saints of the day. And today, the 1st of December, we had an interesting bunch. I just want to share a couple of them. We had Radishev, a Russian Freemason who was campaigning for the ending of serfdom. And we had Melchior, who's one of the Magi that came to see the baby Jesus, bringing gifts. And the word Magi is translated as Druid, by the way, in the Gaelic New Testament text. Because a Magi and a Druid are the same thing. And then we also had for Judaism Joseph, who, as we know, was bullied by his brothers, went down to Egypt and became a slave, but then worked his way up and was faithful to his duty to his God and his king and the Pharaoh. And eventually was let out of prison because he was a very good seer of dreams, an interpreter. And then he enabled Egypt to survive the coming famine. And also Israel herself then came, Jacob and the other sons came. And he was able to give them food and survive the famine. So Joseph is one of the great stories of the Old Testament. He's known about in the Quran, he's mentioned a great deal, and as an example of fidelity to God. And I think today, therefore, we celebrated Joseph. Without him, the Jewish people would have died, perished in the famine. There would be no Bible, there'd be no Christianity, there'd be no Islam, probably. So we owe a great deal to Joseph, and what did he get it from? He just had fidelity and truth and a sense of honour and a sense of integrity. And he was also quite psychic because of his supernatural dream seership abilities, which many Jews are to this day. Think of people like Uri Geller, who I've met. They have that certain je ne sais quoi that Stan Gooch explained, trying to trace it back. And so I think we should remember that honesty, honour, integrity will help us survive as a people, and see off these ravaging, crazy pharaoh types that are unjust and doing illegal actions like Trump and Netanyahu and Boris Johnson. These people are lying. They're not authentic leaders. They're wolves in sheep clothing. And let's see through them. And I'm with Joseph. And David Roll, the great British contemporary archaeologist who wants to rejig the chronology of Egypt, thinks he might have found his tomb near Avaris in Goshen, in part of Egypt. I suspend judgment. It would be lovely if we could do that, find that. One of the reasons I'm so for peace is because that peace will enable archaeological discoveries to be made. Peace leads to more science, more archaeology, more discoveries. I want to find the lost scrolls of Aristotle's lost works hidden in some cave in Egypt. Well, they're not going to be found if the Middle East goes on in its war-fighting phase. I want peace in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria, throughout the Middle East, so that we can celebrate together these mysteries, so we can become like Joseph and inherit the kingdom of peace. It's interesting Christ's father was called Joseph as well. It's a, beneficial and auspicious name, and that he took the baby Jesus to Egypt. Because I think that's a symbol of the fact that Joseph was in touch with Jews in Alexandria who were of a more liberal kind, like Philo. Egypt was a home to more cosmopolitan thinking Jewish intellectuals than was Jerusalem, which was hardcore, old school. So anyway, there's a few reflections, and today is also the day of Saint Eloi, who was the patron saint of goldsmiths and made crowns for the French monarchs. And Chaucer has an oath from the prioress by Saint Eloi. That's quite a powerful thing. So I say, by Saint Eloi, let us stop Brexit and let us get back on track as a country and as a continent, and get back, with the Sulpicians making this place sacred again to the goddess of wisdom and peace and healing. Shalom. Amen.